Hello there, welcome back. Time now for our weekly spreadsheet segment. This week, we're taking a closer look at corporate strategy and see how companies can translate a good plan into excellent results and boost their balance sheets as well. Our next guest says implementing a winning strategy is no easy task, but get this, 9 out of 10 strategies fail because they're not carried out properly. Well, let's say hello to Robin Speculand. He is the author of Beyond Strategy, the leader's role in successful implementation, and he is right here next to me. Well, thank you so much for coming. I think that's really an interesting point that you point out, that 9 out of 10 strategies, no matter how successful they are, they don't fully get implemented. Tell us more.
With pleasure. In the last few years, what leaders have realized, they appreciate that most of the time there's a staggering failure rate. What's changed today is they want to know what can they do differently. They understand that we spent too much time focusing on strategy and not enough time on the implementation. And we've underestimated the whole challenge.
What is the big stumbling block for companies not being able to carry out those plans, in your view?
Well, going forward, once they start to roll out the strategy, one of the companies we worked with, for example, in one of the banks, what we noticed was before we went in, the leaders were spending 85% of their time per month talking about the operations and only 15% about the strategy and its implementation. This ratio has to be reversed. The leader's role is to focus on the strategy, because if they don't pay attention to the implementation, then their staff don't pay attention to it, and it will fail. And
you also talk about in your book that it's important to make that emotional connection with the staffers out there so that they understand precisely what's going on.
Oh, too true. You know, one of the things we notice so often is implementation never goes according to plan. Whatever you've planned in the boardroom, it never happens when you execute it. Therefore, don't try and dot the I's and stroke the T's. Get going. Roll out the strategy. And then once you get going, the next thing you have to do is keep reviewing it. Not once a quarter, but every 2 weeks. Because you've got to change the dialogue in the organization so that people are discussing and talking about it.
And why is it important to promote mavericks in the company?
The mavericks are the people who support you. With so many implementations failing and it being such a staggering high failure rate, the odds against you succeeding are slim. Therefore, you got to do as much as you can. The mavericks are the ones who will make it happen. And when you support them, they'll start to support you and start to give you traction.
Give us some great examples.
In one of the organizations where we were working, what we did is we took the top 20% of people who support it. Now, most people think that they'll resist the implementation. What we've discovered, it's only 20% of the population who resist, 60% who will sit on the fence, and 20% who we call the mavericks who support. We pulled out those mavericks, we supported them, we gave them the recognition, we helped them improve their work, and they got on board with the strategy. They gave us early wins and quick successes. And as a result, we started to see the implementation happen faster.
But how do you tell? How can you tell one is a maverick and the other isn't?
It's easy to see in their behaviors, in the way they do things. So, for example, when you identify the right actions that you need to see happen, then you'll see the people who start to take it, because that's the leader's role. They have to be the voice of the strategy. They have to be the one who's shouting about it and talking about it at every meeting, offsite, and discussion. Has to be the first thing on the agenda. And they'll see the people who respond. They'll notice the ones who get on board. And then they've got to make sure that they're doing the right actions. In addition, you've also got to identify the actions you don't want people to do. So with one client, we also identified a to-stop list.
Right. We have to leave it there. We're just about up against the clock here. Thank you so much for sharing with us your thoughts there. Robin Speculand, author of Beyond Strategy, the leader's role in successful implementation. I hope you were able to get some key takeaway points there.